This worksheet is something I created that really goes hand in hand with our literature books. It is a read around the text, but I like to use them a little differently than you would in, say, science or social studies. There are 4 boxes, and each of the boxes goes hand in hand with something from the literature book. Vocabulary builder. In the online version, the vocab words are highlighted. You click on them and they will give you the definition, part of speech, and a sample sentence. In your textbook, the word would be underlined, and off to the side in green would be all the information I just mentioned. Now, literary analysis, those are questions throughout the story, and a literary analysis means that we are actually analyzing the text in some way. So when you click on it's actually an L, it's a blue L online, and it's a little box, and you click on it and a question pops up. If you have the textbook, it is also in blue, but it's off to the side, and it says literary analysis. When you click on it, when the question pops up or you're reading the question, the objective here, because this is a pre-reading activity, is not to answer the question. You're not really supposed to be able to answer a question unless you've read the text, obviously. So you look at the question to see what kind of information you can get. For example, in The Telltale Heart, one of the questions says what character traits are shown by the narrator when he is forming his plan to commit murder. Well, you don't know yet because you haven't read the story, but what you do now know is the fact that there is a narrator, and a narrator is somebody who tells the story, so this is in first person point of view. And you also know he's planning on killing someone. So you know a lot, and those are the things that you would write in that box. And then you would go and you would find the next literary analysis question, and you would ask the same, or you would say the same things. Like you'd look at the question and say, what do I now know about the story that I didn't before? The fact that the question says something about character traits, obviously we're going to be looking into the character traits of the narrator in this situation. Now, critical viewing is a little tougher when you're on the online version. Critical viewing is when you're looking at a picture and the artwork that maybe is provided in the story, and there's usually a question underneath that artwork. Well, if you're online, you're not going to see that. So you may have to leave that section blank. In The Telltale Heart, in class, I showed a picture, and we were trying to establish the mood of the story. And we were able to see, based on the picture, that it was dark and dreary, and it was made you feel anxious, and we assumed that it was going to be a scary story. So those are the kinds of things that you would get with critical viewing. Now, questions after the selection. Again, you are not expected to answer questions you have not you've not read about. But what you can do is look at those questions to try to find clues about the story. Now, it's kind of no fun to do this if you're wanting to read for entertainment, but when you're reading in my class, while I want you to enjoy it, we're doing it from an academic point of view. So it's okay to go and look at those questions ahead of time, and it kind of just gives you a little more focus on what you're doing. So the way to get to those questions, if you're looking at your textbook, you just go to the back of the end of the story, and there are the questions. If you're online, you'd scroll all the way down until you see some arrows, and you'd click on the arrow that says next page. And then you would look at all of those questions, read every single one of them, and then ask yourself, what do I now know about the story that I didn't before? And this is a really good way to understand what's going on and give yourself some help. Especially with a difficult text like this. If you kind of have an idea of what's going on, it's not going to matter if there's some really strong or serious or hard sentence structures. And it's not going to matter if there's a lot of really big words, because you're going to have an idea of what's going on. And this is just one way to get better comprehension.